So the way we look at things can affect how we manifest it, like how quickly we can manifest it, how easily we can manifest it. And so perspective is extremely important. And because your perspective can have such a huge effect on your manifesting, that doesn't mean that you're not applying all the tools and doing all the things right. It just means that the way that you are actually thinking and feeling, your perspective about how you view things, may either be in a positive light, which makes it come really quick, or in a negative light, and that can be altering your manifestation. So that's what we're talking about today. What is your perspective, and can you identify within yourself what your perspective is, so that when you're manifesting, if you're finding that your perspective is negative, you can say, all right, let me go ahead and change that so that I can have what I want and deserve in life. So before we begin, you guys, I want to introduce myself. My name is Wendy, and I teach real world manifesting that's practical, grounded, and effective. If you're like me and find that manifesting is a process for you and you're learning and you like my style, hit the like button. And if you want some clear direction, schedule a coaching session with me. Okay, so let's first just break down what manifestation is. It's the meaning you assign to what's happening. So two people can experience the exact same situation and manifest completely different outcomes. And so why is that? Well, because it's the way you perceive it. So one person can see rejection and then feel like I'm not good enough, or they've found somebody else, or they have a negative perspective on it because that's the way they think. And another person might see rejection as this is a way to redirect you or me to something better. So the way that somebody sees something will help them or hinder their manifesting, right? Your manifestation isn't just responding to what's happening, it's responding to how you interpret what's happening. So it's important that you take into consideration, how do I perceive the person, the money, the job, the car, the house, the life that I'm trying to manifest? Because the way that you perceive that and feel about that is what's going to move or slow it down. So a lot of people take a look at their current reality and their past experiences and decide what that means, and then they react to it. You might react happily, angrily, but essentially you're reacting emotionally. So for me, if you're not for me, but for a person, and sometimes for me, this specific doesn't fit me, but let's say you've texted someone or you're waiting for a text and you haven't received it. You can perceive it a couple of different ways. You can perceive it as they don't care. You can perceive that they don't like me anymore. You can perceive that they've moved on. When in reality, it's absolutely none of those things, right? Or you could see a delay as it's not working. Sometimes that's what people think. There's a delay. They don't text back for a week or two, or maybe a couple of hours or several hours. And so you start to think, okay, my manifestation isn't working. Or you've applied for that job and you're waiting on that job and you're like, it's not working. What am I doing wrong? So you might look at the way I'm manifesting, it's not working, or I've messed it up, because your perspective is saying, well, everything around me is showing that it's not working. So when you assign a negative meaning to whatever it is you're trying to manifest, the problem is that you're shifting into doubt and fear and lack. And that, at that point, is the energy that you're now manifesting from. So remember that it's not the circumstance that's blocking your manifestation, it's the story that you are attaching to it. So manifesting and perspective are very important. It's important to know that if you're not sure of how you perceive things, stop and take a look at what's my initial reaction. If you immediately think negatively about a delay, instead of saying this isn't working, or they must not like me, or I didn't get the job, you can say, that's all right. You know, what's happening is everything is being aligned and it takes a little bit of time. You can look at not getting the job, not getting the guy or the situation at the time as redirection, right? It could be moving you into a different place. Sometimes your job not working out, or the guy not working out, or the girl not working out, or the money not working out. Just because it's not happening at that moment doesn't mean that you're literally being rejected or that it's not happening. It could be that those particular situations are forcing you into a new direction, and the universe is like, listen, I'm not only going to give it to you, but it's going to be better. But the direction you're going is not the direction I want you in. So it's allowing you to just rethink, okay, maybe this isn't the way I expected, but it's not bad. This is the way it's supposed to work, okay? And then opposite results can equal movement, and you should see it that way. You should start to realize that everything that's not working in your favor immediately does not mean that it's not working in your favor. It just means at that very moment, it's not working in your favor. I'm going to use a personal example for you really quick. I had so many things go wrong. My tire, I'm supposed to go see someone, okay? And it was very important that I went to see them because, there were some situations that were going on. I'll just share very briefly. My dog is getting ready to have surgery. My daughter has the dog, and it's our dog. It's not mine, right? And I wanted to see her name is Molly, the dog, before she goes into surgery. God forbid anything should happen. And to be quite honest, things just have been going in a very opposite direction for me lately. So here's what happened. I got a flat tire. I had to, which made me, almost an hour late for work, which means I had to work over later, which I just wasn't prepared emotionally and mentally for because I'd already had a lot going on. And I was just kind of treading water emotionally because I'm like, I know everything's working out for me, but I'm tired. I had just had too much happening at once. So back to the point, had to call roadside assistance. They had to come, they fixed my tire. They said, hey, no big deal. You can get it patched. I'm like, oh, wonderful. Thank you. So then I drive to work. I think, okay, I'm going to see my daughter the next day. I'm going to, in the morning, get up, go get the tire plugged. I go to get the tire plugged. The guy's like, yeah, you can get it plugged. No big deal. Don't have to buy a new tire. Fantastic. Wonderful. Then the guy's like, no. Now, not only did that happen, but I'm going to just tell you, and I'm not going to share the whole story. There were a lot of things that were going on that seemed shady. Okay. And finally, I was like, I have to get a new tire. And he's like, yeah. So I said, well, I want the same tires. I want you to see how all of this is going, how emotionally frustrating this would be. So he's like, yeah, we don't have those tires here. And I said, I didn't say you had them here, but I know I went to the same tire place and they got that tire, and I don't want different tires. I want all my tires to be the same. He was very resistant, you all. When I tell you that it was super frustrating because I was reaching a point of emotionally saying, you're a fucking dick, and I know you're trying to take me for a ride, but instead I said, you know what? Don't sweat it. I'll just go back to the place that got me the other tire. Oh, no. He says, don't do that. Now all of a sudden he's backtracking. Oh, I'll go find where you got it. You weren't willing to do that before. So that just pretend you can picture. This is what kept going on. I am now just emotionally I can't take any more negativity. I can't take any more people coming at me with lies. I can't take any more I was like, I'm tired. I need things to start working in my favor. Now, I want you to understand something. The entire time, I've always known that all the time while this is going wrong, everything's going to work out. I don't know how. I don't know at all, but I know it will. But I'm having a bad moment, so I'm crying. Not because I don't believe it's going to work out. I'm 1,000% positive. It's because in the 3D reality, I had experienced so much pain that I couldn't take one more thing. And so I cried. And I just thought, you know what? Shit's going down and I'm tired. But I know this is working out for my favor. I need to cry though. All right, so that's kind of like, I wanted you to know this is the feel it, you feel the emotions as you're going through them, but you still know the manifestation is coming. So anyway, back to the point. So I end up talking to my daughter and she's like, I'll just come see you. I'll bring Molly by herself because she has 2 dogs and I'll see you. And you guys, that couldn't have worked out any better for me. I got to put all my attention on the one dog. I got to really spend the time with her that I wanted, in an environment that allowed my 14-year-old dog to just be, calm and just be, I wanted to be able to give her all the attention. And because she's, the one who's got something going on. And then my daughter being here and us being in my home, which is our home, it just all kind of worked itself out. But I had all these other things that just piled up. And I just emotionally was like, I can't take it. I gotta cry. But I knew in the back of my mind that everything was working in my favor. So my perspective remained. It didn't change that I was emotionally exhausted, because not that my manifesting was emotionally exhausting. It was that I had so many negatives keep coming up on me. And I was like, I'm just human. I know it's going to work out, but I need to release these emotions. So essentially, that's what happened, right? And I wanted you to know that my perspective was important. It was important that I accepted the situation for what it was. It was important that I understood things were working in my favor, even though I could not see it. And in the end, I got to see it work out in my favor. So perspective matters. So when things aren't working out for you, just know that sometimes they're rearranging to make things even better, okay? That was my way of sharing that with you. Hopefully you really understood that. And hopefully you can apply some of your own experiences to, sometimes things don't go the way you anticipate, and you already had a plan and you were moving forward with it and you were doing it and you were happy about it and you were excited with it. And the universe is like, and shit goes the wrong way. And it actually ends up working out better for you. But while you're going through it, you're just hurt. And I knew, okay, the universe is going to make everything work in my favor, but it doesn't mean I can't cry. Okay, hopefully that wasn't too long of a rant about perspective and how things don't work. So I want you to remember that we all have control over our perspective. And the way you perceive things determines your emotional state. And your emotional state, of course, is going to determine your energy. And essentially, your energy is what will manifest. The way you believe things are going to work out, it's how it does. So the question isn't what's happening. The question is, what am I choosing to believe about what's happening? Because that's what's important. What are you believing? How are you seeing it? So if nothing is going your way right now, and if it's actually going wrong, what if you look at it like, from where I'm standing, it looks like it's not going well, but what if the universe is just rearranging everything to work not only in my favor, but for the best possible outcome? Because not usually, guys, that's what's happening. So I want you to think about something in your life right now that feels frustrating or like it's not working. What's one new meaning you could give it instead? Think about that. What's one new meaning you could give it instead? Comment below. I'd love to see your response about, what's a new meaning you can give it. It's redirection. It's the universe putting things in your favor. Negativity isn't always negativity. But the main takeaway I'm hoping that you receive from this is that you are allowed to feel. Your perspective can stay in an alignment with the end result, all while you're allowing yourself to feel at that moment, but knowing inherently, like, this is working out for me. I don't know why this is happening, but it's going to work. All right, guys, I hope you have an amazing and wonderful day. You deserve everything in this world. You deserve the most wonderful, phenomenal life that you could ever imagine for yourself. So dream big, manifest big, and know that if your perspective right now isn't the best, or maybe at times your perspective is a little jaded, it's okay. Take a look at it. Allow yourself to say, hey, I'm working on that. I'm changing that. And allow yourself to grow through the process. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.